Hi, welcome to another typology interview. We have Sheila. How's it going, Sheila?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, going good. Thanks for
Good.
coming out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your history in typology. You said a little bit you were started in 16 personalities and then,
Yep. It all started with that fatal test on 16personalities.com. You type in what you think and you get this letters. And then I went to YouTube and just kind of typed in my um, four letters, and it
what were
was
they?
just, I typed as like everybody, INFJ.
INFJ. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so then, like, how long ago was that?
Um, Maybe 6 months ago ish, I think.
Right. Okay. Oh, wow. Very new. Okay. And so then you ended up going to talking with famous people a bit, hanging out there, learning from there.
Yep. He had so many videos on so many things. So
Right.
I would just consume, take it all in and try to figure out what makes sense and doesn't. And so I've just been in a big consuming forever. So
Right. And so then you got into OP and you got typed really recently, I guess.
yep, just about a month ago.
Okay. And the type you got in OP is different from what you got with host Eric?
Um, yeah, it is.
Okay. So I think I remember, I saw it very briefly, but I think you were FE there, no? Lead FE?
Yes.
Okay. And
Or
then
second function, yep,
second
FE.
function. Oh, so what did he put you in? An ISFP or,
Um,
sorry,
no,
ESFJ?
um, he first thought maybe INFJ and then ISFJ.
ISFJ. Okay, interesting. So and then OP also got SF, but you got an IP, not an IJ.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you're which would you resonate with more?
Definitely the IP
Yeah.
by far, by
Right.
far. Yeah, and I think I've kind of hid my head in the sand about tribe and self issues, but once it's kind of like brought to my attention, I'm like, oh yeah, I am terrified of the tribe.
Right.
I'm always thinking the tribe is out to get me. Always. And maybe not to that much of extreme, but I
Yeah.
think um, I just always worry about me and the tribe. Always.
Yeah.
So
IP.
I think to
or
the max.
EJ, but yeah.
Yeah. And, in some days or months or weeks throughout my life, it's like, it's fine. And then I struggle with it. And I think it just depends on my mood, where I feel like I'm at in my life, just my securities and insecurities. And yeah, so I mean, it fluctuates. It's not like I live in my home, and looking behind the window, who's out to get me. I'm not like that, but I definitely worry about where and what people are thinking about me a lot.
Right. Do you find that you have a developed identity that you're sure of who you are?
I do, yeah. I know my core, like my values,
Hmm.
who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what is important to me. That is like solid.
Right.
Um, and I think what makes me nervous is I know these things about me. And when somebody else doesn't see that in me or thinks I'm a certain way or takes me at something else that I know, then that's where I'm like, what? Like, how
Yeah.
do you? So I think that's where I struggle because no, I am very solid in who I
I
am.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like then I'm like, well, am I coming off? If they're seeing something else, so that's where I struggle. I think is just like how their reality and my reality doesn't match up, and
Right.
but that's just life, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess it's getting intimate with people is as well. Like they'll start to see patterns and they'll start to say you're a certain way, and then you'll be like, no, that's not. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And I think, to an extent, we all kind of put on, a facade, we put on the hat that we want, or, yeah, I mean, there's things that we do that might be out of our character sometimes, to get a response, or to just sometimes to not even feel like you have to put that emotion and work into somebody or something. So it's just easier to not, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. So do you find that like when you do something out of character, people will say that is your character, and that's what the difficulty is?
I don't know if they ever say it. Well, I guess the whole FI versus FE dilemma with me, because I think half the board sees one thing and the other half the board sees another thing from me.
Hmm.
Um, and I've been really trying to figure out what they're seeing and why they're seeing, and because I know, but I don't know. I don't know why I give off an FB vibe really strongly. Well, I kind of know. I mean, I want to fit in, and so I also know how to be nice and sweet and kind,
Right.
and like on the little things in life that aren't really important to me. I'm very flexible and go with the flow and kind of like, well, whatever. So I could come off really easygoing, and I am really easygoing for the most part, unless you tread on my core identity. Then I'm
Right.
like,
So is that like a
oh,
masculine FI then?
it's a masculine FI. Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right. I see. And I want to know a little bit about FI from your perspective. Do you feel like your values, do you feel like they're your values or they are the values that that everyone should also value?
No, they're mine.
They're yours. But you feel like
They're
they're
mine.
right? Your values are the right ones?
They're right for me.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I never put my values on somebody else,
Okay.
and I don't want people putting their values on me.
Right.
So I'm kind of like that live and let live, or what works for me works for me. If it works, like unless they're, um, you know, like a value of that you shouldn't go out and murder people. I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody's out murdering everybody, I mean, then they're inflicting their value, their um, actions onto other people. So then, yeah, but like, I don't know. I mean, I have my values of what I believe, that I know I'm not going to change other people, and I don't want to change other people's, and I don't want them to change mine. So I guess,
Right. Sort of live
I
and let
guess,
live?
yeah. For the most part, I mean, there's exceptions to all the rules,
Right.
and I'm always open to those exceptions. So I don't have like a closed mind,
Right.
but my mind isn't so empty or so open that my brains are going to fall out.
Do you like
So
talking about your own values? Sorry for interrupting.
no, not really.
No.
Uh,
They're personal to you? Like there's it's like someone getting too close maybe?
yeah, I mean, I can be an open book on some things, but like my really close, strong values, I kind of only talk about them with like-minded people for the most part, and that's probably because I'm a little afraid of being attacked. If I have a
Right.
certain value, um,
Right.
so I have a lot of friends that don't value the same things I value, and we get along fine.
You just don't
Um,
talk about them.
no, I keep them very like just
Right.
they're mine unless you share that same value, and then I have that connection with you.
Uh-huh.
Then oh yeah, and then we can sit and talk about it for hours, and then
Right.
we'll talk about the other side of the coin on that value, and try to see other perspectives, but that I know I'm safe in those communications with that other person.
Right. And what if someone starts telling you their values? Is that awkward for you? Is it personal, or does it feel like they're being intrusive, or?
Mm, no, no. If somebody wants to tell me their values and are very passionate about it, I just listen. If they're getting a little too aggressive, I guess,
Uh-huh.
I'll try to change the subject, or just kind of change the
Right.
subject or make a joke or lighten the mood, because I don't like anything when things get too heavy. It's like I like to keep things kind of light in my life, and happy and
Yeah.
carefree. Yeah. So when things start getting too heavy on me, I'm like, okay, time to throw in a joke or change the subject. So
And what happens if you disagree with that person's value who's talking about their values? Would you voice that disagreement, or would you just sort of like listen, or?
it depends on who it is.
Right.
And it depends on my mood at the moment.
Uh-huh.
If I'm feeling a little spicy, then I guess I'll be like, well, and
Right.
but if I'm just kind of like, I don't want to put the energy into this today, I like, no thanks.
Right.
Or yeah, so I I think I just take it like on a case by case for and that person, and I kind of can judge to see how heated they are about that topic, where I'm like, oh, okay, that's going to go way too far. Or if they are
Mhm.
more open about it, then I'm like, oh, I can kind of see where they might, just want to really truly know my opinion and not wanting to change my opinion.
Now you're consume first and then play and then sleep?
Correct.
Okay, and so then blast last.
Hmm.
Um, do you do you find that you're spending most of your time being observant and listening in conversations, or?
Yes. Yeah, I'll sit back. Like if we're in a small group of like 3 or 4 girls, I'm probably more quiet than talking. Um, I mean, sometimes I can get really chatty, but for the most part, I'm kind of like sit back and take everything in.
Right.
And some of my friends are like, they'll tease me because I'll just be like sitting there and listening and listening. Then they're just like, uh, Sheila's just like overanalyzing everything, um, or sometimes they'll just when I'm looking at somebody and they're speaking to me, I'm always like strong eye contact, and some of my friends are like, I feel like you're just like staring into my soul, and I'm like, but I don't know, I'm and maybe that's the SE, just kind of like lock in on
Yeah, well, you
somebody.
probably are staring into their
It,
soul on some level. Yeah.
it's kind of hard because I'm always like, what do they really mean when they say that? What are they
Uh-huh.
really talking about? What are they not saying? What's their body language saying? What are their voice inflections? So that sensing for me is I'm just taking in all of that.
Mhm.
Just yeah, the everything around. I'm just like taking it all in.
And that would make you energy dominant. Do you see that in your life as well? That you have a lot of energy issues, or most of your life is revolving around energy?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I love sleep. Sleep
Okay.
for me is, yeah, I think if I could spend 12 hours a bed, 12 hours a day in bed sleeping, that's my happy place. I know like when I wake up in the morning, how much energy I have for the day. Some days I have more energy than not. I'm very aware and I know what tasks or people will take that energy from me.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then I'll, like I can go for a couple days, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I need a whole day on the couch. I need
Right.
sleep. So I'm very aware of energy, and even my mom, she said as a baby, the day they brought me home from the hospital, I slept through the night. I mean, I just loved my sleep always.
Right. And do you find yourself like doing first and then resting, or do you find yourself procrastinating a bit and then doing, or planning first, or both?
Procrastinating is probably, that's very high on my list. I'm
Right.
always, my favorite word is tomorrow. Maybe
Hmm.
tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. And I think I've gotten worse in my older age. I used to be more like, let's get her done. Let's do
Right.
this. And I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. And so I think
Right.
just energy levels have depleted a little bit more too for me. So um, I notice, yeah, I can't hang like I used to hang.
Right. So the reason you're procrastinating, do you find it's mostly because you're consuming something, like you'd rather be consuming, or yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yes, I'd rather
And
be reading or listening to YouTube or yeah, definitely would rather consume than work.
right. So it's dialing down that consume, like that's the issue to get rid of your procrastination. It's like,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah. And I'm realizing that in the last 6 months that I started this whole little journey because it's been consuming me so much, and I'm like, why is this so all consuming? Like, I just need to figure this out and make it make sense, and it just, I don't know why I am so consumed about this, but it has been consuming me, and I'll just spend hours consuming,
mm,
and then
yeah,
I'm not getting anything done, and then I'm mad at myself. I'm like, Sheila, you are being one lazy lady. You need to get off the couch and go do. Because when I'm doing and I'm in motion and I'm, gardening or doing what I love, my hobbies that I love to do, I'm like so happy. And I'm like, why don't I do this more often? And then I find myself going to my Savior consume. And then
right.
I'm like, yeah, so I'm realizing that big time.
And so, like, I guess maybe you feel responsible for that consume, and like maybe that's more of an issue, or
No, I think it's my FI just wants to do what I want to do,
right,
and
what you like.
it makes
Okay.
it makes me happy, and I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
"This is what I want to do. I don't care that dinner's not getting put on the table. I don't care. It's just like I'm like the spoiled little brat that just wants to do what she wants to do, and I'm like, ugh. And then I'll beat myself up over that. So
Wow. Thank you for being so honest. Yeah, really cool.
I'm quite honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and that's what I love about when people can be honest too. I hate when people are just not honest, and I can kind of see through it easily on a lot of people. I'm like, just say what you mean and mean what you say. And I don't know, just that is a pet peeve of mine. I'm just like, just be honest, just be you and be, I don't know, it's just, but maybe some people aren't in touch with their emotions. I mean, I am very in touch with exactly how I feel all the time and what I
Right.
think. So,
Are you more aware of the spectrum of emotions? Like, are you aware of all of the different types of emotions, or you're more just like aware of like good or bad sort of thing?
no, I would say I'm pretty aware of all the whole spectrum, the whole gamut. I would think. I think.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Did you see that
yeah,
like emotion wheel or whatever that they put in the class the other day? Yeah.
yeah, and I probably have felt every emotion there is, and um, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to live in those emotions. Like I said, I like to keep things light and fun, but
Uh-huh.
I can go there when I have to go there, um, and it's fine. And sometimes I enjoy going there. Like sometimes I'll just put on a sad song because I want to be sad. I mean, who
Huh.
does that? I don't know, but or
You do, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But or reread a sad or watch a sad movie. That's, I don't know. And I don't know why I would do that because I don't like being sad, but sometimes I just want to,
You need to be maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if
I'll let
that's
out
just a
something.
FI thing or if it's just who, I don't know what that is, but yeah, and things bring out so much emotion in me too, like music or um, being in nature for me is the biggest. I feel so like grounded, and I feel most like me when I'm in nature and when I'm listening to the birds chirping and seeing the beautiful blue sky and the sunset and all around me. When I'm
That's
out in
that
nature,
SE
it's just
there.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just feel so connected to the whole universe,
Right.
and that there is something bigger than me. And when I'm in nature, I feel like that tiny little person who is just a little speck, but know that I'm worth something. But in the whole grand scheme of things, I'm just like, wow. So it just, I don't know. I don't know if I use my sleep energy more when I'm in nature or not, but that's just
Yeah,
like,
no, it seems like you're using your SE, like your sensory. You're looking at the spectrum of sensory out there, and yeah, like you enjoy seeing I don't know, beautiful things and hearing beautiful things and being, I guess, taking in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And even even the bugs that I don't like, I still like, oh, they they matter too. I don't, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like every little thing is not insignificant to me. And
Hmm.
I appreciate all of the beauty.
Hmm. Do you find that you're really aware of the world around you, really aware of what's out there?
I do. Yeah. Like when I go in public, I'm always hyper aware of my surroundings, who's around me, what's around me. Um, yeah, I've only have had one car accident my whole life, and that was like when I was 16, when I was just learning how to drive. But
Right.
I'm constantly looking all around me and know, and just the people around me. When somebody at the grocery store or something, if they're in the aisle, I take them all in right away on like what they wear, what they look like. And I think if I ever got mugged, I would be able to give a very good description of my assailant. I'd be like, oh, he was wearing, and or even facial expressions and hair. And
Are you MF
yeah,
then?
I'm FF.
FF. So, but
Hmm.
like even though your sensory is feminine, you think you would have a good memory of the sensory.
As long as it wasn't too long ago. Yeah. If I get mugged and I have to give the description, 4 months later, then I'd be in trouble. But
Right.
no, right. Like I always know, like, within a few days, like things are very clear in my mind, like a very visual picture. Like I could just kind of close my eyes and I have that snapshot in my eyes or my head
Hmm.
or whatever. But yeah, then it'll start fading as time goes. So
Right. I'm getting a lot of intuition from you because like when I'm asking you questions and stuff, you're answering in very general terms as well. Like you're not going into specific details as often. So you must be practiced pretty well on that NI. Tell me a little bit about it.
yeah, I think I am, because a lot of people have said I give off a very NF vibe.
Right.
Um, Probably because I would say, my FI and my NI are both masculine.
Right.
Um, that they're strong, and
Right. Solid concepts. So you're able to give off the concepts, but sort of
yeah,
wavering on the details.
um, but yeah, my NI I do feel is strong. Um, and I don't know if that's because my SE and I are my two observing functions, and I'm constantly
Right.
back and forth observing. It's like I'll observe and then I'll log it all in, and then I'm like making the connections in my head and observe and connections. So I think just being that double observer, has served me well.
Hmm.
And I love thinking about, I mean, I think I spend more time in the future than I do in the present. Um, both. I mean, it's pretty balanced, but even when I'm in the present, I'm constantly thinking, about the future.
Hmm.
And I love thinking about the future and the possibilities and the what ifs, and so I think I have good access to the NI.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because that observing function, right in the middle there. So
Do you feel like everything is linked in some way? Everything is, yeah, everything is connected.
yeah, I do. And I don't know if that's just, being a Christian and believing in God and that He has created everything and everything is His. And I believe that in my heart. Not everybody does, but that's just my belief. So then when I see all those connections, it's just kind of like, yeah. So, but yeah, I I see all the connections all the time, and it's just that's what I believe. But
Right. Do you think that that this Christianity sort of sits on top of your NI and reinforces it, or do you think maybe your NI is reinforcing the Christianity, or it's just both?
ooh, that is a really good question. Ooh, I'm gonna have to sleep on that one for a while.
Okay.
Let's see. Huh. Um, I don't I don't know because even as a young child, my intuition was always really, really, really strong. Um, just very strong. So, but I grew up Catholic and just grew up in religion. Um, and as I became an adult, I don't practice Catholicism anymore, but just I don't know. It's always just been a part
Right.
of my belief system, and I've never questioned it. I think there's been times throughout my life I'm kind of like, where are you? Like you feel alone or whatever, but I never felt 100% alone. Like I just always felt that connection. So I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I don't know what
Interesting.
what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah. No, it
So
sounds like they sort of grew together and reinforced each other along the way. Yeah.
yeah, I can't pinpoint one or the other.
Right.
No, I can't. I have to
Um,
think hard.
yeah. Do you think, what about your thinking? Are you aware of your thinking and your logic and your rationale at all?
Yeah, but I do rely more on my saviors, and it has gotten me in trouble, um,
Uh-huh.
especially from people who are high T. I think I kind of can rub them the wrong way. There's been times where I've even like on OP or something, I'll type in, a real feeling type response or something, and they're like, "Quit feeling and start thinking more," and I'm just like, ah, like that's just you're
Uh,
just hitting me in my gut. Like just a feeler. I don't, it's like seriously, it's like telling somebody quit thinking more. You're stupid. You need to feel more. It's.
uh-huh.
But no, I definitely use logic and rational thinking a lot um, when I have to.
Are you really aware of like things that work and how things work and um, using things for their purpose and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Okay.
give me give me an example of what you mean.
Um, I don't know. Do you have any heavy equipment out there on your farm that you're using on a regular basis or?
Yeah, like okay, so my riding lawnmower,
Right.
my little baby that I picked out. So yeah, I feel the gas up. I know how to turn it on. If it's acting or sounding weird, I'm paying attention. I'm troubleshooting. Yeah, if I had to change the oil on it, I can. I usually leave it to my husband to do it because I have enough to do. So we trade off, but I can do that. Actually, in high school, I took small engines in like shop class, and I loved it. And I actually wanted to become a mechanic.
Uh-huh.
And Dad talked me out of it. He's like, you don't want to be a mechanic. You'll always be dirty and your fingernails will always have grease under them. And so he played to my SF. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to be dirty, but I love tinkering and figuring out how things work. It's not my go-to, but I can do it pretty easily.
Do you feel like if your lawnmower breaks down, do you feel like you're the one responsible to fix it, or will you go in and get help?
I'll usually ask my husband.
Right.
Just because I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. But if I have to deal with it, like if he's out of town or if he's at work and I need to figure it out, like 2 years ago, our old riding lawnmower was acting up and it had stalled on me out in the middle of the field. And so, I'm like, lift up the hood and I'm tinkering and moving this around, and then took off the battery, brought the battery into the shop, and they're like, oh yeah, it's dead. And so brought home the new battery, hooked it up, and so I could do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like it, but I'm fine at it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Do you find that you like it when people agree about, not about values, but about things, I guess, about the extroverted world? Do you enjoy agreement? Do you enjoy when people are on the same page?
Yeah. Like whenever I feel like a connection with values or thoughts or that we agree on, I'm always like, oh yeah. And I love that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that connection with feeling like they make sense and I make sense and we understand and we're speaking the same language, and I'm like, and that they get me and I get them. I love that back and forth play. I don't know.
Right. Uh-huh. Is there any like message that you want to give to anyone who's the same type as you, that maybe for personal growth or?
Well,
Or just a general message?
yeah, I guess what has helped me to grow as a pretty well-rounded human is to be flexible with the tribe on some things. Like my core values, no, but so for like an example, one time or a few times over our marriage, there's something I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and my husband's like, oh no, we can't afford that, or we shouldn't do that. But in my heart, I'm just like, I want to do it, and I will just go out and do it, and then come home and I know I'm gonna get the cold shoulder for a couple days, but I'm like, I couldn't help it. I wanted to do that so badly. And so over the years, I've learned to reel in that FI of, I want to do this. I don't care what anyone else wants. So I think if you know how to balance that out, it's going to serve you much better than just my way or the highway attitude. Right. Because with any relationship, you have to have that balance. So right. Yeah, it's important to live your life and your passions and do what you want to an extent. But if you are too much, then no, you are right. Gonna be sleeping on the couch and your husband's gonna be mad at you for a couple of days, or just whatever, so yeah.
That's like a real self and tribe thing going on there, that you're realizing that, you have to cater to the tribe a little bit, I guess, and not only be on yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
And it hurts sometimes. You're just like, you feel like you're just, getting your arm twisted, like, I don't want to do this, but
getting control.
Yeah. And
or going against your identity.
Yeah. But I think on some of that, it's okay. You're still going to be you, and yeah, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
A good message. Also, you mentioned that you have a YouTube channel where you're just practicing your blast. if anyone wants to check it out or to learn more about your type or something like that?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to practice my blast, and I ramble, and I need to start learning how to edit so I can take out all my ums and my knows and all that. So, but it's kind of just a learning, and I don't know. It's just, yeah, mostly for practicing my blast, and maybe just kind of a, a visual and verbal diary of
Right.
myself, that I will have, or when I die, that my daughter can look back and watch. So it's kind of just, yeah, I just think about that.
Cool. So we'll put the link in the description if that's okay. That's fine with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Sheila. It was really nice to meet you and nice talking to you, and have a good one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.